Man, haven't done one of these in a while. What's up, guys? Noob reviews, except it's not Noob reviews. It's Mignola-Versed, the sub-series of Noob reviews. The thing. I'm speaking very well. This is very professional. I'm sure you guys are really enjoying this dialogue I'm giving you guys right now. Welcome back. We haven't talked about Hellboy within the last minute, so it's important that I do that and annoy everybody. Well, I want to make a few announcements. First, not a whole lot is changing, but I'd like to say that the shift, this whole Mignola-Verse thing is shifting in focus a bit. It's no longer, this isn't going to be my review thing. This is just, basically, if I just want to talk about something, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do a Noob review. And then whenever I'm in the phase, like Hellboy currently, my next phase is either going to be Green Arrow or it's going to be Valiant. Whichever one you want to see more. I will make a specific show for either of those whenever I do them. But yeah, this is sort of a loose form chit-chat sort of thing, especially any new viewers. It's still going to stay that way, but I'm not going to be doing specific book reviews. Maybe if I get a book, like if I get a trade, like I get a BPRD thing, I'll do that. But I'm actually going to start doing actual scripted reviews, which is gonna be interesting. I haven't written any yet, but I have plans to do so. So expect those maybe in a month or so. I have a lot going on right now, so I might not be able to get to it immediately, but that's the plan. And then, so whenever books come out in the Mignola-Verse, I'll just have this little chat. It's actually a lot better to do the loose form chat, in theory, because I haven't actually really done it for any Mignola-Verse books, but for single issues rather than for the whole fucking thing. But yeah. Also, wanted to bring up, and you probably could tell if you look in the description or whatever, at the end of this, I'll be quickly going back and revisiting Witchfinder Volume 3, The Mysteries of Unland, because as you remember, I could not figure out what the shit the book was going on about. I read it like 4 times, but still wasn't getting it. Then I now understand it, and I'm going to put half the blame on the writer and half the blame on myself. We're going to share this 50-50. Equivalent exchange. Full Metal Alchemist. Alchemy. Wizards are cool. I don't know what I'm even talking about. I'm just gonna actually go on with what the fuck the video is made for. Look, yesterday, whatever, Lobster Johnson came out. Yesterday for me, end of the week for you guys. Lobster Johnson. I'm actually, you'll see, I don't know, I made the set very obvious as to what we're talking about today. B.P.R.D, Lobster Johnson, a little bit of Witchfinder, and then Hellboy because it's in the shared universe. But I've only read the first volume of Lobster Johnson and this. Plus, what was that one-off that came out like 4 issues ago? That wasn't Guard in the Bones. But I haven't, anything that's been like one-offs I've been reading, just because, I don't know, they're a little more get-intoable when I don't know much about the Lobster. I have these 2 volumes right here, but I've actually never read Volume 2, and I cannot find it at any stores near me. All of them have Volumes 3 and goddamn 4. No Volume 2 or Volume 1, which I don't own either, but since I've already read Volume 1 before through other means, I don't really need it. Yeah, let's talk about this shit. Lobster Johnson, Mangekyo, the ultimate superhero. Mangekyo runs through the fields, through the skies, because he's, I don't know, that's something in his superpowers, and he transforms into them looking like them. Some geckos have that ability. Some geckos don't. It depends on what species of gecko he's being that day. I keep calling it Mangekyo because I don't know why. It's clearly Mangekyo. Mangekyo-io. Or Mangekyo, I don't know. And this is about, what's it, the Lotus, Crimson Lotus? Am I remembering that wrong? The something Lotus. The Lotus, I guess, yeah. And I'm assuming she's a Lobster villain because you can see the fucking thing right there. The monkeys have the same face, I believe, right? Am I just remembering that wrong? Did I literally just look at the monkeys and then... Nope, they don't. Never mind. That face was in here, wasn't it? Well, they have similar faces. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe that's that guy from the first volume with the Fu Manchu mustache. But, yeah. And then it has that, David Lynch-ass motherfucker right there. But, yeah. I know, the only reason I know this character, not Lobster Johnson, the Lotus, is because they brought her up in B.P.R.D. that, what's his name? Fucking... Come on, why is my brain farting on me right now? I'm actually the worst. I'm so totally the worst. He's the son of her, and he's like, no, she wasn't bad at all. Stop, guys, stop, my mom's cool. And then the lobster shows up as a ghost for some reason. I don't know why. Which was kind of awesome. But I do plan on reading volumes 2 through 5 now, actually. And I'm just picking it up because my goal in the future is just to own every issue of these things. So, what's cool about this? Well, Ben Stenbeck drew it. I don't think he drew any of the other Lobster stories. I think. Maybe he did? I don't think so. I don't know. But yeah, Ben Stenbeck's cool. He did Witchfinder Volume 1, Witchfinder Volume 4. He did, let's see. God damn it, video recording got stopped. So, that's so annoying. What was I talking about? God, that's the most annoying thing ever. Ben Stenbeck. He's working on Hellboy in the BPRD now. And that's gonna be really cool. Which comes out for me next week. And I think for you guys too. I think I'm gonna have this video up for Friday. So, which is tomorrow for me, which is crazy. Yeah, I don't think he's done any other stories for Lobster Johnson. So that's really cool. Ben Stenbeck also works on what the hell's his name? Is that vampire thing? Baltimore. I was like, it's a city. Is it Boston? It's not Boston the Vampire Hunter. But yeah, the artwork in this is really cool because Ben Stenbeck's really cool. He's one of my favorite artists in the whole continuity of Hellboy, and I'm enjoying it. This is a very trippy issue. It's not a very Lobster Johnson issue from what I know. Like, Lobster Johnson's kind of trippy, but this is, like, just crazy. This actually reminds me a bit of, like, a Doom Patrol-esque thing. Not really. Like, Doom Patrol is more, like, acid trippy. This is more, like, magic trippy. Evil magic trippy. You get what I mean. It's very simple, though. Guy's trying to break out of jail. Monkeys are gonna break him out. You know, the usual. And, Lobster Johnson comes in and is like, nah. And then they don't. And then he gets caught in the end. And then they try to make his friend shoot him, but he doesn't. It's all good in the end. Who also? Oh, John Arcudi wrote this. The guy who wrote, you know, and he also wrote. And I really like this issue. It's good because I don't need to know a lot about Lobster Johnson to read it. I also showed it to Anthony. He was able to grasp it pretty well. It's very simple. And it has an awesome cover. This cover is really cool. I love it. Is that Ben Stenbeck who did the cover? No, that's... What's that? I recognize that. I recognize that that signature. I don't know who did that. Is that? It's not any other artists that are on here, is it? No, Mignola. I don't know. I think that might be Ben Stenbeck. It's kind of hard to tell. It looks like his artwork, because... Yeah, because, like, the shading here is very Stenbeck-y. His artwork's kind of similar to Mignola in the aspect where he uses a lot of shadows to line things. And see how, like, even in the fur and stuff, you can see kind of the line works very similar to that. So I think that might be Stenbeck art right there. But just because it's only a face and a little bit of Lobster down there, it's a little hard to tell. But, yeah, really good issue. I'm going to try my hardest to get it caught up to Lobster Johnson. It might be the last thing I make it to. Right now, all I have left is to read Lobster Johnson, and let's see. I think I have 2 of the spin-off books to do. I have to read Sledgehammer. There's one more, right? Oh, yeah, and Frankenstein Underground. And I think those are the only books I have left to read. Oh, and also there's the Hellboy Mexico and then Midnight Circus I have to read. And that's it, I think. Aside from maybe a few other issues. So, I'm almost done! Oh, wait, and I also have to read the prose books, so that's going to be cool. Oh, it came out, guys! B.P.R.D. I have been just eagerly awaiting eagerly awaiting for this book. It was cool because Lawrence Campbell had 2 books that came out that day. With it was this and also come on, what's his name? Occult Detective. I pick up the book even though I haven't read it. It's another Mignola kind of book, but not really. Am I an idiot? John, I'll think of it later. But, you know, that. It came out the same day, so that's cool. He's getting all that art in. And his art came out for on Cadence Comic Art, and you can get, like, one of the final pages of Devil You Know, or Hell on Earth, where spoilers happen. Somebody dies. And it was like $175. It's really cheap for that page. I really want that page. But I have my eyes on a different page by Tyler Crook I'm going to pick up soon. This was amazing. I'm so happy with how this started. Scott Alley, he wrote... Well, he's editor-in-chief at Dark Horse, but also he wrote Abe Sapien, which was amazing. Had some issues with the very last issue of it. Get it? Issues with the issue. But aside from that, it was, like, really good. It was just that way it ended was a bit weird. Like, I guess a bit anticlimactic in a way. I guess it's also just weird in general. Like, the villain, the clear villain in the whole thing only showed up in the last issue. Well, no, not the last issue, like the last few issues. The issues before the last issue where Abe goes into Professor Broom's house and hears some stuff, are, like, my 2 favorite issues in, like... almost all the canon. Not favorite single issues, but they're 2 of my favorite single issues in all of the Hellboy canon. They're just incredible. Like, just blew me away with how amazing those were written. And the art too, but mainly the writing. Scott Alley knows what he's doing. He knows the whole canon really well, because, I don't know, he's... I was actually reading a Mignola thing today about how Scott Alley... He pretty much brought Scott Alley on because he knows the canon so well. So it was really easy for him to pick up where Arcudi left off. So yeah, this and this was just so good. Barbara is awesome. God damn it, this stupid thing keeps stop recording. Ugh, killing me. Scott Alley, amazing. This book was great. I loved it. Yeah, and they're on a rescue mission for somebody, and cough cough, it might have to do with Abe Sapien, which basically was a side run to Hell on Earth. They both kind of were very intertwined, but yeah, they eventually rescue Abe, who's, we don't know what state he's in. I'm assuming he's dying, but I'm assuming Abe's gonna come back. And we now know that Varvara is gonna meet up with the Phoenix and shit. And then these guys just pop up. I'm like, why the fuck are they there? Were they? They weren't in the last few issues of Hell on Earth, were they? I don't think so, but they're just kind of walking around like, gosh, gee, Von Klempt, I don't know what to do now. We're just so losers. Gosh. What the hell's his name? I know his last name. Come on. I'm not remembering things to say. I'm so angry right now. I'm so frustrated with just everything. And then Barbara shows up and is like, I'm a cool villain. You guys want to do something? They're like, no. And she's like, I'm going to revive your friend. So she revives Von Klempt. And then she has a cult. It's just cool. This whole book's just awesome. Campbell's art's really good. It's just great art. Not much to say there. He's been doing it for a while, as you might know. And yeah, it's just set up like a ton of stuff. Oh, also, I completely skipped over it. First off, it opens up with one of these. It's kind of Watchmen-y in a way. Just talking about the state of things. Also, I like how Howard's and Liz are just kind of talking now. Like, Howard's never talked before until that one issue where he did. I like now they're just like, hashtag teamwork! Yeah! That was awkward as hell. But Ashley Strode, she shows up, so I'm assuming she's going to be actually part of the plot now? Like, she was pretty much just reserved to, like, little spin-off BPRD issues. I mean, they weren't officially spin-off books, but, like, I don't know. They were just kind of like, let's take a little break for this little aside. Now I think she's actually going to be part of the plot, which is awesome. Ashley Strode's cool as hell, and I think she didn't get nearly enough representation. She only had 4 issues to her name, as far as I know. I think that's it. Maybe she shows up in other things. I don't know. But, yeah. I'm just so happy with BPRD right now. I've been waiting for this for all year, and it did not disappoint at all. Like, at all. Kong Skull Island. At Paul F. Tompkins. Yeah, so that, I'm just so happy with what's going on in that right now. Yeah, and I hope you guys are too, because I want friends who like BPRD. None of my friends like Hellboy. It's so awkward talking with them. Witchfinder Volume 3. Let's quickly go over this, because I already kind of went over it. Before, since I couldn't understand what the shit was going on in this, I pretty much just liked this book exclusively because it was an art book. Like, the art in this is so good. Tyler Crook's amazing. He's honestly, Tyler Crook is like one of my top 5 working artists right now, just because I like his style. I like, especially when he uses watercolors. Like, in the end here, he doesn't use watercolors, and it looks good. It's just like, when he lines his pages without watercolors, like, that's with, see right here, the Abe Sapien stuff? He does that to make it look like it's the future. And it still looks really good. I just prefer it with the watercoloring in it, because look at that. I mean, but I've already gone over this. And now I understand what the book's about. I still don't think the writing is, like, the plot, it's weird. So, if anybody's ever been in a storytelling class, there's a difference between plot and story. Plot is the events that happen. Story is the assembling of the events that happened into a narrative. So, I love the plot of it. And I love all the events that happen and everything. And the dialogue at times is really cool too, even though it's very un-Witchfindery. He still has like these little monologues in his head, that are almost like I don't know. He's usually they reserve that to him writing letters to Queen Victoria, but in this, he's just kind of talking in his head, and I kind of like it. There's one that I liked where he was like, rain, go away. Shitty day to be a witchfinder or something without the word shit. But, and that's all really good. Oh, and the best one where he's talking to himself about how he wants to be fucking getting babes and shit. And he's on very mundane. And then he's like, oh, if only a dragon showed up. And he's like, eels! And they're like, those aren't dragons, but they'll do. And that was really cool. Yeah, now I understand that the plot is... wow, sorry. Kicked the camera. Very professional today. Everything today is just so professional. Let's call this Professional the episode. Yeah, the plot's about, a bunch of witches that lived in this swamp, and their land got taken over by England, basically, with the moving in of, factories and stuff. That was a very industrial revolution-y topic, kinda. But, and it sounds very simple when I explain it that way, and it is. It's very simple. But the issue that confused me was that, I didn't know that the character, the mayor, was a character. I thought they were just saying some weird, like, old term. So that's where this is kind of half my fault, half the book's fault, because my not understanding of ancient Ancient. God damn it. Did I just say ancient? I'm such an idiot. My understanding of, it's not even Middle English, it's just kind of Victorian era English. But, Middle English is like 1600s-y, I think, if I'm correct. As Middle English is I don't remember. I know Old English is like not even English. You can't even recognize any of the words. I think Middle English is recognizable as English, but it still uses kind of weird vocabulary. I think yeah. I mean, obviously, this isn't Middle English. This is like just Victorian era English, but just trying to straighten that out in my head. That was a weird aside. The fuck was I talking about? So the thing is that they don't highlight in this thing. They don't do a really good job of being like, this character is the mayor. They just kind of like casually in the middle of a sentence, they're just like, oh yeah, you know, the rice is good. I like the rice, and the teriyaki is pretty good too. Also, my friend's the mayor, and also, yeah, I'll take a Burger King BLT and shit. It's just kind of casual dialogue like that. And I don't know what a mayor is. Mayor isn't a commonly known name, so you have to have a giant panel that's just like, for I am the mayor. Otherwise, I'm not going to know that. And that's not the only character. There's also Mona, who is... this is where reading the tie-in with this and Abe Sapien helped. Mona is... Mona's the Rock. Mona's this. And the mayor is the representative to the Rock. And the Rock basically controls all of Unland. So they're not even really witches. They're just sort of part of these things. And this Rock, even though it's not important to this story, is one of the Rocks that was like Abe Sapien. It's just kind of like its cousin or something. So the mayor is like the overseer, and in the end they make a pact so that England would not set foot here, even though they do later on, but whatever. It's... Now that I know everything, it's not convoluted at all to me. Like, I understand it perfectly. But, like, at the time, I thought it was, like, a normal city with some witches in it. I didn't realize the entire city was witches. And that's something that didn't get conveyed to me, because I didn't know about the mayor being the head of everything. It's like a fucking system. I thought those were just, like, two people that were just out in the woods, like, we hate everything, and we hate them. But now I know that the plot is about, like, a town of an ancient thing revolting. Pretty much like a spin-off of the Hyperborean Empire, now that I understand, because of that rock. The rock from Abe Sapien is a real energy thing. It's not entirely explained yet, but, you know, that's kind of what Abe Sapien was about. And thus, if it's related to this rock, then this rock must also be a real energy thing from the past. Maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. But, yeah. But now I just wanted to say I understand it, and I really love this book now even more, now that I understand the plot, because when you can read it, like, now I read it, and I'm like, well, how did I have any issues with this? It all makes 100% perfect sense, like... Everything just works, but the thing is, it took me like 5 times reading it to actually get it. And so it's partially due to the fact that the language in it is very, like, heavy Victorian-era English. But it's also due to the fact that they don't really highlight specific things that I think they should, you know? Like, they don't highlight what the mayor is, and you have to read it a million times to actually understand what the mayor is. And I think those are really big conveyance issues that are not my fault, that they're on the book's fault. So yeah, basically the issue with this book was conveyance. And once you understand what everything is, the book actually flows really, really, really well. But yeah, that initial conveyance is really hard to get. But I love this book. Now that I understand everything, it's actually like one of my favorite books. In all the thing, but it's still a bit unfortunate, especially a book with such an awesome, like, an original plot. Like, for instance, like as like a lot of the books in the Hellboy universe are just kind of like takes on older stories that you've kind of already heard, but they're retold in a more interesting way. This is a very original story. Like it has many elements of classical stories, but like I don't know, like the idea behind the eels and the whole town being weird, it's just really cool. So I don't know, I respect it a lot, and I love the art. Like the art's one of my favorite in all of the Hellboy canon. And I'm going to try to get a page from this book because I love it so much. So there we go. I looked like a moron for about a half hour. Maybe. I don't know. Hopefully my phone doesn't shut off before I'm done introducing or outroducing. Goddamn no. I'm so tired. I haven't done one of these in forever, and I'm having technical issues. Guys, I'm just sad. I'm happy. I'm happy because I'm with comic books, but I'm sad because apparently technology hates me with vigorous passion. I'm gonna go get some food and stop looking like a moron for about another hour, and then I'll look like a moron again when I do a Noob review!